What's up guys, it's Joseph, and this is going to be my video on the Ruger LCP Max 380 that I've been carrying for the past 2 months, and that's after shooting about 120 rounds through it. In the first 50 rounds I did get one failure to go into battery with this ammo, so it got stuck like about here, and then I had to tap the back and it went into battery. And I think it has to do with the fact that this is half aluminum, half brass. So I haven't been using this. I've had about 70 rounds where there hasn't been any issue. And before that I was carrying my Sig P365, this one over here. And I've been thinking that this is probably the best micro pistol for most people, especially if you're doing appendix carry. Just because of the size really helps with the comfort. And so I'll talk about what's in the box, and then I'll talk over these points that I drew up of pros and cons of this pistol. What comes in the box. So obviously the pistol, and this is the pinky extension that you can put on the 10 round magazine that comes with it, and it comes with a loading assist tool and a pocket holster, so it fits in there pretty nicely. You can see it covers up the entire trigger. This leads me to the fact that this is the only pistol I have that I do occasionally pocket carry, so I'll just put it in here and put it in my pocket. You can't really do that with the P365 just because it's so heavy. I mean, you can, but you can definitely feel the weight in your pocket. Let's compare the size of these two. So with the pinky extension, this is a really nice size. Like from the bottom of my pinky to the top of my middle finger that goes on the grip is about like 2 inches. And on this pistol, I'm getting a little bit more than half of my pinky on the grip, so I have a very secure grip on it. And then getting a two-hand grip, thumbs fall short, finger falls short, and obviously if I'm firing, this is going to be in here. And the same with the P365 with the 10 round magazine. So this is generally how I would carry it, just because I like to have as short of a grip as possible for best concealment. This feels like about 50% of my pinky's on there when I get a good grip on there. LCP gives you like an extra millimeter on the bottom there. And LCP is a lot thinner than the 365. You can see how thin that is. The weight is a big difference. So the Ruger LCP loaded with 10 rounds in there, it comes in at 14.1 ounces versus the 365 is 22.7, and so that's about a 50% increase in weight just because you're going from 380 ACP to a 9mm. You definitely barely notice it's there when you're carrying. For the most part, I carry an appendix in this little holster, and I had this left over from, I had a LCP2 from Ruger before this, and they both have a very similar slide profile. It's a little bit too loose, and I was testing this out to see if I liked carrying this, and I do, so I'm probably going to go ahead and upgrade in my holster to a Vetter holster that I use for my P365. So I like this one a lot better because it has an extended claw that turns the grip into my stomach, and it hides the gun like really well. The ease of controls. So this being a 380, the springs are in the slide are a lot lighter. I can use 2 fingers and I can lock the slide backward, and that's impossible to do with this 9mm. So yeah, basically really easy to rack the slide on this. The recoil is pretty light as long as you're shooting under 50 rounds, because with either of these pistols, once you go over that, you do start to feel it in the palm of your hand a little bit. So especially with the LCP2, that one I could only shoot about 10 to 15 rounds before it started like giving me a noticeable sting in my palm. This one you could shoot a whole box of 50 and you're going to be fine. Same with the 365. This being lighter gets away with having the same recoil because this is a 380, which is a little bit lower power than a 9mm. So you can see these 2 rounds, the 380 in my left. 380 is the same diameter, but it's just lower power, so it's not going as fast. The next thing is the trigger pull. Trigger is very acceptable, I would say. Definitely light enough so that you can keep the sights on target. So I'll go ahead and show you the trigger pull. There's like a wall here. So when I measured that, that was 6¼ pounds versus the 5½ of the Sig P365. One other aspect of the trigger is that it's a very long pull. So if you can see, instead of like having a short break, and that's a plus and minus. It's a plus in that you have to very deliberately pull in order to shoot the gun. Minus if you're trying to shoot as fast as you can. Another pro is the capacity for the size. I don't know if they call it a double stack or a 1½ stack, but anyway, it's really crazy seeing a little gun in 380 that can hold 10 rounds. So, yep, 10 rounds in this stock magazine. And then you can also upgrade to the 12-round magazines. So I have a couple of those. And that extends the grip a little bit more. So now I'm getting like 100% of my pinky on the grip compared to like maybe 80% with the pinky extension. And then this is now 12 rounds inside this little tiny pistol. So the next pro is the sights. A definite improvement over the LCP2. A front night sight, and these are removable for, I think it's 380 bodyguard sights. The 365 will give you a very similar setup with a front night sight. The next pro is the grip texture on this. Very good grip texture, but my problem with it is that it doesn't go high enough. So grip texture should be going almost all the way up to the slide, just because that's where your second hand goes whenever you go and get a two-hand grip. So yeah, I really wish the grip extended here and here too, because that's where my thumb is going. I really like the low profile controls. I've never accidentally locked the slide back while shooting, so that's really important. And the last pro is that pinky extension that I was talking about that they include in the box. For me, this is really the only way I would carry this, is with this pinky extension. So with this, you're only going to get 2 fingers on the gun, and I really don't like that feeling. So let's go into the cons. One big con is that I have not been getting last round bolt hold open with any of the magazines. This is empty mag, obviously, and watch this. So it should be locking back. I just locked it back manually, and I'll show you what's going on. It's actually on the platform, on the follower, but the spring inside of the magazine is too weak. Even though it goes up and it touches that little piece of metal in there, the follower is just getting bent down because the spring in the magazine is too weak. On the 12-round magazine, so another empty 12-round, when I pull back, no lock back, you can see that little metal tab, and the magazine is supposed to come up and touch that. It just bypasses it, and so there's not going to be any last round ball hold open. They need to make the platform a little bit bigger right here if they can, and I would say on the 10-round magazine, make it a little stronger. On the 10-round mag, I can actually get last round ball hold open if I take a spring from the 12-round magazine and I put it in the 10-round mag. Then it is strong enough to hold it open. The only issue then is that because there's more spring inside of this smaller body, I can only fit 9 rounds inside the magazine, so there's that trade-off. And the accuracy is not so great. So compared to 9mm, here are some rounds that I shot at 7 yards. 5-round groups, Monarch 94 grain, FMJ, about 1.5 inches. Sig V crown, jacketed hollow point. Sierra jacketed hollow point, and that's the half aluminum rounds. Winchester flat nose 95 grain. We hear Hornady XTP rounds. Here's the Sig V crown, just in case you've never seen those. And the Hornady XTP rounds are these ones. So this is what I've been carrying with, just because the profile of the bullet, I like how it's smoother around the top, and it's more narrow. It goes to a more narrow point, so I think that those both things will make sure these always feed reliably. And then this is the black. So this was actually this is the black in my hand, but they are the same bullet for Hornady American and Hornady Black, and this is what the box looks like. Alright, so that's the accuracy, which is very acceptable for such a small, short range gun like this. And then the rest of these were all have question marks just because they're either subjective or like easily addressed. So one is the 380 power, the power of the 380 round. In my opinion, if you have 10 rounds, it's very acceptable to have just a 380. And especially if you've been practicing, and then 380 at close distance versus a 9mm is probably not going to be the deciding factor. Recoil after 50 rounds. So yeah, I actually shot 90 rounds through this on the first day, and had no problems with like any pain, but some people might have discomfort after 50 rounds, say, just because of how small this gun is. Disassembly requires a tool, so that is different. This could be disassembled with no tools. This, I've been using the nail clippers. So to disassemble, you pull this a little bit out. I've been getting this nail clipper in here, and then you pop the pin out. Once you pop that pin, then you can get the slide and forward and clean the barrel and all that. The long trigger, I talked about that already. The size, if you have very large hands, and the fact that it only comes with one magazine is a con. The last con is the cost of 380 per round. 380 is a little bit more expensive than 9mm. I guess it's because of the mass production of 9mm. What I've seen recently at Academy Sports is 21 rounds a box for 380 versus 18 rounds for like basic ball target ammo. Alright guys, I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to with this little gun. And even though there are some cons, I do think this is like the best micro pistol you can get. This has been very easy for me to like just, you know, before I leave, grab, put it on my belt. And I'm definitely reaching for this more than I am my 365 just because of weight. So if you guys have any questions, you can leave that in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to be making a video soon on this new pistol. This is a AP5P from Century Arms. And I'm taking this to the range today too, actually, for the video. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, talk to you guys later.